Now at 7, San Mateo County Sheriff Christina Corpus back on the stand today, telling her side of the story as she fights to keep her job. How she explained allegations of retaliation and favoritism under her watch, and even gifts of diamond earrings.
She didn't let the county attorney get under her skin.
It is a perk that hundreds of thousands of California drivers enjoy every year.
When traffic is completely jammed on 101, you're able to drive in the carpool lane.
But driving solo in carpool lanes is about to go away. And heaps of stolen clothes, shoes, and luggage that ended up at flea markets. The retail theft ring bust, targeting several local TJ Maxx stores.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Embattled San Mateo County Sheriff Christina Corpus was back on the stand for a second day, testifying in her own defense about why she should be able to keep her job. She left the courthouse in Redwood City just over 2 hours ago. She was questioned on a wide range of topics, from the discrimination she once faced to her $8,000 diamond earrings. Our Lauren Toms was there and has more on her testimony.
As Sheriff Christina Corpus took the stand for the second day of testimony in her fight to keep her elected position, she spoke emotionally about her early years in the department, a time she says was marked by discrimination and harassment. Under cross-examination by her own attorney, Corpus described being one of just 2 women in her academy class, finding ants and sugar stuffed into her locker, and being called derogatory names by veteran deputies, some whom still hold positions in the sheriff's office today. When she decided to run for sheriff, Corpus testified some within the department actively tried to undermine her campaign, taking down her political signs and making threats to those who supported her. Legal analyst Steve Clark says this was one of her biggest moments to tell her side of the story.
Sheriff Corpus was clearly fighting for her career, and she was very well prepared. She knew the material, and she didn't let the county attorney get under her skin.
But while the defense tried to portray Corpus as a reformer in a hostile culture, the county painted a different picture. Corpus fielded questions about allegations she retaliated against employees, using her power as sheriff to target critics and favor allies. They point to pay raises she pushed through for close aide Victor INJ and question whether their relationship crossed a line, creating a conflict of interest.
If it didn't go into the romantic area, the fact that they were so close, I think that is what the county is saying. It doesn't really matter if it was romantic, but the fact that he was so close to you, giving you gifts, you're having lunch all the time, and you're promoting him, you're moving him up the ladder when he doesn't necessarily deserve it, that's where I think the conflict of interest comes in.
County attorneys held up the sheriff's handbook, saying INJ benefited from promotions and access despite little formal experience. They also confronted her with text messages, alleged slurs, and questions about gifts like diamond earrings. Corpus denied any wrongdoing.
She had an answer for everything. She was very well studied on this material. And so when there was these negative inferences trying to be drawn, she corrected the county council and said, no, that's not the way it happened.
The county also pointed to the arrest of Deputy Carlos Tapia, the union leader, calling it retaliation after he challenged her on a costly overtime policy. The district attorney later cleared Tapia of any fraud. Corpus insisted she was relying on her executive team and making legitimate management decisions.
Sheriff Corpus is the elected sheriff, and she has the right to make these decisions. Maybe there was an element of being unhappy with some of these people, but at the same time, is that grounds for removal? She has every right to do that.
It will be up to a third-party judge to decide whether to recommend Corpus be removed from office, weighing her testimony as a woman who fought through bias and hostility to lead the department as its first Latina and first woman sheriff, against allegations that she abused that power.
The hearing comes after voters passed Measure A, which gives San Mateo County supervisors the power to remove Corpus from her position. She will be back on the stand tomorrow. There is a break in a 10-year-old cold case out of San Francisco. Police have arrested a man accused of shooting and killing 2 people in the city's Bayview neighborhood, including a mother caught in the crossfire. This all happened on January 27th, 2015. The DA's office says 34-year-old Anthony Tyree was involved in a drive-by shooting on Revere Avenue and Ingalls Street. Police say Maria Lourdes Souza was hit and killed by a stray bullet while standing outside her home. Souza had just picked up her kids from school at the time. They were ages 3, 9, and 13. A memorial was set up for her. She was remembered as a hardworking and caring mother. Her sister told us in 2015 her heart breaks for the family.
She can't see her kids grow up. It sucks.
The police say Tyree had been firing at another car in a rolling gun battle. The passenger in that car was killed and the driver was injured. Homicide cold case investigators took over the case last August. They developed probable cause to believe Tyree was the suspect. This month, investigators obtained an arrest warrant for him. They searched his home in Pittsburgh and took him into custody. Investigators say they also seized an AR-15 short-barrel rifle from the home. Tyree was booked for 2 counts of murder, attempted murder, and being a felon in possession of a firearm. Police say although there's been an arrest in the case, the investigation remains open. All right, now to the battle over the effort to redraw California's congressional districts. State Republicans filed a lawsuit today over the proposed map on the right, which could potentially flip 5 U.S. House districts from red to blue. So the proposed map, it carves up current Northern California districts and reshapes districts in Republican strongholds in the Central Valley and also Southern California. Democratic lawmakers introduced a package of bills yesterday that would put the issue ahead of voters. Those bills moved through committees today and would have to be approved by Thursday in order to make it on the ballot for a November 4th special election. But Republicans argue that the pace of all this maneuvering is illegal. They say the Constitution guarantees a 30-day period for both the public and lawmakers to review the legislation, and they're asking the state Supreme Court to stop the plan.
What they're doing right now isn't taking power away from the voters in Texas. They're taking power away from the voters in California, which is what we are focused on.
California's redistricting plan is a response to a similar move by Texas that would give Texas more seats in the House of Representatives, and other states could follow. Redistricting usually happens every 10 years after the census. So the governor's office responding to today's lawsuit, saying Republicans are filing a deeply unserious and truly laughable lawsuit to stop Americans from voting. We're neither surprised nor worried. All right, with the summer break now over for most of us, you may notice more cars back out on the roads, and traffic patterns could be changing once again in just a few weeks, as a sticker that allows electric cars in the carpool lanes is about to become invalid. Our Kara St. Cyr heard from a driver who's been taking advantage of this perk for years.
I've had carpool stickers and EVs since 2011.
Steve Lemke's Tesla was a dream buy. But these clean vehicle decals make this purchase worth it.
It's good for lessening traffic. And then when EVs came out, it helped really motivate people to buy EVs, which is, so many positive aspects. It's good for the environment.
This sticker gives people in electric vehicles access to the HOV lane, even if there's only one person in the car.
When traffic is completely jammed on 101 or 85 or 280, or in this case, San Tomas Expressway or Lawrence Expressway, you're able to drive in the carpool lane.
The program needs federal legislation to keep it going, but lawmakers haven't voted on an extension. The California DMV website now says the decals will expire on October 1st. Lemke is disappointed.
People generally don't carpool, and all these single vehicle clean air vehicles are going to be thrust back into the other lanes because they won't be able to ride in the carpool lane.
Bill McGavern, the policy director for Coalition for Clean Air, says losing the decals will affect more than just traffic.
It's absolutely vital that we make the transition to zero-emission vehicles because California has the worst air pollution in the whole country, by far.
The 2024 State of the Air report from the American Lung Association listed California among states with the worst air quality in the country. Car emissions were among the leading pollutants. But McGavern says there could be a silver lining.
the solo driver zero emission cars out, then you may see a benefit in the carpool lanes are moving better, and that's better for the cars that actually are carrying 2 or more people.
Drivers have until August 29th to order a decal, but time is limited to use them.
There's a Chevy Bolt with carpool stickers on it.
Limke says he's happy he got to use the decals for so long.
It's a great incentive.
He just hopes the state can find another incentive to motivate people to buy electric.
Last year, there were more than 400,000 vehicles on the road with active stickers. Up next, part of an alleged retail theft ring's haul recovered in Santa Clara County, the chain they were targeting and the suspects still on the run. And a warning to pet owners about a new illness carried by ticks.
Gonna get those pups out for a walk early in the day tomorrow as temperatures are going to start heating up. But today we were very close to what's normal for the middle of August. This next heat wave isn't going to be real long, but it'll be noticeable. Details coming up in the First Alert forecast.
An explosion aboard a cargo ship temporarily shut down the Baltimore harbor this morning. It happened near the site of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. So you can see flames and black smoke just shooting into the air. No injuries were reported. Investigators are still working to figure out just how the explosion happened. A major retail theft ring busted in the South Bay. Target, TJ Maxx stores throughout California, including 11 Bay Area locations. A months-long investigation led officers to recover this, more than $380,000 worth of stolen goods and drugs in Santa Clara County, and that includes clothes, shoes, and luggage. The sheriff's office identified these 16 suspects connected to the retail theft ring, 8 of whom were arrested last week. But officers are still on the lookout for the remaining 8 suspects.
These are huge networks that are working, very profitable. They need to be broken down. They need to be brought to justice.
The sheriff's office connected the crew to at least 80 thefts at TJ Maxx stores. All right, onto a warning for dog owners about an illness. It's carried by these ticks. You can see right there. It is called anaplasmosis, and it's spreading quickly throughout California. The disease is mainly showing up in dogs. So the symptoms include fever, fatigue, and weight loss. And in some cases, dogs could even have seizures. Vets say diagnosis can be difficult, so it is important to mention if your pet spends time in tick-prone areas, make sure you double check. And on the bright side, the disease is treatable.
Probably doesn't matter so much when you give the antibiotics. It just costs more, to have your dog in hospital, not feeling well, going back in and out of veterinary clinics before finally the right diagnosis is made.
The Companion Animal Parasite Council said that between 2021 and 2024, the number of dogs testing positive for the disease nearly tripled. Sorry you have to watch that during dinner time. The organization made this map. It shows that most of California faces risk of infection. Marin, San Francisco, San Mateo, and Alameda counties are all labeled as high risk for the disease. So vets say the best way to keep your dog safe, have them have year-round tick and flea prevention and examine your dog after walks in grassy or wooded areas. Good advice. All right, let's take a step forward now for a new waterfront park in San Francisco's Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood. Mayor Daniel Lurie broke ground. They joined community leaders to break ground on this final phase of the 10-acre India Basin Waterfront Park. It will be featuring a new beach, get this, a boathouse, a pier, basketball courts, and an area to grill. The project is expected to be ready by the start of 2028. Very exciting for that area. I still can't get that visual of our dog story out of my head. I'm going to go, oh, yeah.
Creeping along?
But you definitely have to check, especially we have long-haired dogs, and you take them on a walk, and you got to really get through the coat to make sure that they're okay.
Or low-to-the-ground dogs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we've got a dachshund mix who just scoops up dust.
Yeah.
And whenever he walks through a puddle, it's like, how did you get all of that from just those 4 feet?
They managed to do it.
They managed to. It's going to be a little hot for your furry friends, for your non-furry friends over the next few days. Let's take a look at what you need to know. We're seeing the fog reforming at the coast. That's going to spread out as we head through tonight, mainly closer to the coast, but a little push across the bay as we head into early tomorrow morning. The heat is going to build. It's going to be much warmer inland tomorrow, and then the heat peaks inland on Thursday, but we back right down to normal temperatures over the weekend, and even slightly below normal temperatures by early next week. So this one isn't going to last too long. Looking outside from Mount Diablo, a little haze on the horizon, but air quality is fine. No worries about that. Temperatures 60s and 70s across the board, anywhere from 64 in San Francisco to 79 degrees, just below 80 degrees in Concord, but we're getting up in the 50s to near 60 degrees by early tomorrow morning. Let's talk about the fog, and we'll track that on our floor map here as we head through the rest of tonight. It is going to mainly be confined to the coast for the first several hours of the night, and then that little push across the bay into early tomorrow morning, even to some of the inland valleys, but it won't last long there. Retreating to the coast, this animation takes us through early morning, the first couple hours of daylight. You can see that fog already rapidly shrinking, and the lack of fog for very long is going to allow temperatures to warm up pretty efficiently. So much warmer away from the water compared to the last several days. Temperatures are going to be running about 5 to 10 degrees above average. Let's put some numbers on the map. We're going to see upper 80s and low 90s in the Santa Clara Valley. It's not record setting. Even the hottest spots east of the Oakland Hills falling short of 100 degrees and well short of record territory. That'll be the case even on the hottest day on Thursday. A mix of 70s and 80s around the bay with still 60s at the coast, and temperatures in the North Bay going from the 80s to the 90s to over 100 degrees in Healdsburg. Those temperatures topping out in triple-digit territory on a more widespread basis by the time Thursday afternoon rolls around. So let's take a look at the forecast heat risk, which is how we kind of categorize the danger of overexertion if you're not careful when we get to these hot weather patterns. It's going to climb to the moderate category tomorrow. That orange spreads out to a greater extent, but we only see a few little flecks of high heat risk, and that's supposed to be the threshold at which the National Weather Service issues a heat advisory when that high heat risk is more widespread. It's not going to be, but they've still issued a heat advisory for Thursday and Friday, even though the heat is not going to be extreme until you get into the Central Valley. That's where they're more likely to see dangerous heat levels over the next few days. But even when the temperatures are at their hottest, the fire threat is not going to be off the charts. Again, we always have to watch at this time of year, especially when the temperatures warm up, but the humidity levels are going to recover overnight tonight. We don't lose the onshore breeze. It'll be pretty light, so the wind speeds aren't going to be exceptionally strong. And the lowest humidity levels tomorrow afternoon are going to be mostly in the 15 to 20% range, and that's not critically low. We'll still have to watch the fire threat. We always do this time of year, but it's just not going to be one of those off-the-charts threat that we can see if we had an offshore wind to go along with these hot temperatures. But it will be hot. 100 degrees on Thursday for many inland communities, but kind of a mix of 90s and low 100s. And then we start backing down. Friday, several degrees cooler, and we're back to normal temperatures over the weekend and slightly below normal by Monday and Tuesday of next week. Easy for me to say. Let's check out the 7-day forecast for the Bay. Really just one warmer day. That's Thursday, when temperatures will be a mix of upper 70s and low 80s. And then we're back into the middle portion of the 70s through most of next week. And at the coast, the warmest day won't be all that warm, but it's noticeable, up close to 70 degrees Thursday with the fog returning. Foggish weather is back as we head into the upcoming weekend. Jules?
Yes, it is. Paul, thank you. One 49ers rookie is channeling his mindset with his footwear. Vern Glenn will join us with the Red and Gold Report. The 49ers are closing out the preseason this week, and one of their rookies is channeling his mindset into his footwear choices. Vern Glenn explains in the Red and Gold Report.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
The 49ers are getting ready for their final preseason game this Saturday against the Chargers. And you can watch that game right here on KPIX with coverage starting at 5 p.m. But before we look ahead to that final dress rehearsal, the Red and Gold took care of business last weekend in Sin City. Strong showing for rookie linebacker Nick Martin. He led the Niners with 6 tackles in the win over the Raiders, and that included 2 tackles for loss and a sack for the former Oklahoma State Cowboy. Martin said he's learning from veteran Fred Warner on how to be a dog in the pros, and the 3rd-round pick is even channeling that to his footwear.
So you say you're learning from Fred how to be a dog, and I'm going to get my cameraman to tilt down as I ask you to explain those dogs on your feet.
Yeah, man, they comfortable. I mean, I love expressing myself. You know, I love slippers. I love animals. You know, I mean, why not wear them? So, I mean, you could take some subliminal messages with it. I think it's just, you know, it's fashion. So, yeah.
With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
They look cozy. Up next, Bay Area residents will have the chance to catch them all. The highly anticipated convention that's coming to town next year. more Pokemon collectors. A new Pokemon fan experience is coming to San Francisco. That's next year. The Moscone Center will host the debut of Pokemon XP. It's a convention meant to celebrate all things Pokemon. The convention will run alongside the World Championships. Tickets go on sale in September. Meanwhile, we're getting some new numbers on the economic boost from the summer of concerts at Golden Gate Park. Mayor Daniel Lurie said that the city brought in $150 million thanks to 3 huge concert weekends. Dead & Company, Outside Lands, and Zach Bryan drew in more than 450,000 attendees. Officials said that boosted hotel bookings as well as restaurant and bar revenue. Thanks so much for watching us. The news continues at 8 on Pix Plus or 44 Cable 12. We're going to see you right back here at 11 o'clock. Have a great evening.